I have absolutely fallen in love with Downwell. From the first few seconds with Ojiro Fumoto's high-octane lo-fi shooter, I knew I'd found myself in the presence of something outstanding. Beautifully minimalist, absurdly Moorish. On all counts, Downwell might actually be the greatest roguelike I've ever played. But I say roguelike in inverted commas because, in spite of some aesthetic and design familiarity, it's not really like anything else I've ever played. It's a simple premise. You're falling down a well. You have guns on your feet. You must progress through numerous stages and reach a final boss. But if you die, that's it. Start from scratch. Within the simplicity of its base mechanical layer lies a quietly sophisticated and surprisingly broad palette of abilities and features. Ones that all centre around only 3 buttons. I won't list them all here, but Mark Brown provided an in-depth look at them in an episode of Game Maker's Toolkit, which I'll link in the description. What I want to talk about, however, is 2 particular concepts that feature heavily in Downwell's blueprint: simplicity and immediacy, and why I believe they are essential for the game's success. At a distance, through squinting eyes, Downwell shares a spiritual bond with games like Spelunky. The tense one false move style of gameplay, a coherent and robust rule set, and the draw to have one more pop at the game when you die are all features of Derek Yu's roguelike masterpiece. But I've always struggled with the speed of Spelunky's gameplay, which is something I've tripped over with numerous real-time permadeath games. While a skilled player can tan entire stages in mere seconds, there's a cautious tone to the design of the world and the way you navigate, rewarding exploration greatly, albeit at high risk, and incentivizing the player to not just make a beeline for the exit. Impatience can get you killed, but hesitation is equally damning, which has led to my repeated inability to progress past even the second stage, despite sinking what feels like dozens of hours into it. For me, games like Spelunky are a mark and a half off the pacing sweet spot that would make the game click for me. It's just that little bit too slow, that little bit too loose. I should add that this isn't flawed design at work, it's a matter of personal preference. I've found that many titles I've loved and the ones that I've bounced off of have similarities in both pacing and structure. It's why Bloodborne is one of my favourite games of this generation, while Dark Souls can suck a lemon. Downwell, like Spelunky and its ilk, is a fiendishly difficult game. Those false moves come back to haunt you with an almost delectable savagery, but there's a sense of flow to your actions that's often missing from similar titles. There is immediacy to Downwell's gameplay that switches on the primal parts of my brain, an urgent call to arms that means I have little time to think about my next move. Do or Die is the name of the game, your little gumboots-clad friendo utilising lightning-fast reflexes to survive the various horrors of the well. And it turns out that this speed and immediacy is paramount to my experience with the game, because it stopped me from overthinking, from hesitant inaction that could just as easily lead to my doom as rash behaviour. But it wouldn't be possible without the respective simplicity of its design. Procedurally generated levels in this genre benefit greatly from keeping things simple. Being able to instantly read a room, to understand unconsciously the rules and behaviours within, leaves more room for tactical deliberation, and less for confusion. But Downwell takes this scheme to an aesthetic level. A uniquely lo-fi visual arrangement, the minute detail and bold colours give the enemy placement an almost rhythm action level of instant readability. And let me tell you, when you're belting down that well at 100 miles an hour, knowing immediately which baddies are safe to trample on and which ones to avoid like the plague is a godsend. Instant recognition, next to no pace breaking, and that incredible rush from absolutely nailing a level, these are all things Downwell excels at, proving once again that sophistication and complexity aren't mutually inclusive. By digging deep into the core of what makes games great, separating the proverbial wheat from the chaff has granted Downwell a first-class ticket straight to my heart. But don't just take my word for it, go play the bugger. It's inexpensive, and if you're a PS Plus subscriber you might already have it.